cannot give you back your homes or restore your dead to life. But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
When the Andals came over to Westeros, no other place seemed quite as perfect as the Vale to call their own. It was geographically isolated from the rest of Westeros by a large mountain range, and it offered incredible amounts of lush terrain to farm and settle. The First Men originally held the Vale, and the Andals believed that they could defeat their troops if they came from the sea, as the First Men were few and far between and didn't enjoy such fine weaponry as the Andals. But truthfully, they couldn't have been more wrong. Time and time again, the First Men rallied behind their king, Robar Royce, to push the Andals back and keeping them well away from gaining any strategic advantage on the savage warriors. The Andals were never successful in taking the Vale because the First Men used the treacherous landscape to their advantage, knowing that the opposing forces were unfamiliar with the territory and could be easily bested in battle even when the odds were definitely not in their favor. The Andals took a page from the First Men and decided to unite behind a magnificent knight named Sir Artus Arryn. Sir Artus was born in the Vale, and he also knew the terrain very well from his childhood. It was his knowledge from an old trail that allowed him to lead a charge of his best mounted knights to flank the First Men, who were exhausted from fighting and thinking that they had just killed Sir Artus on the battlefield, who was really just a soldier decorated in a spare suit of royal armor. From that day forward, the Andals would be known as the Knights of the Vale, and the First Men would never recover the Vale for themselves. Just a fun fact about the Andals and the First Men were brutish and savage in their fighting. They were strong, no doubt, but compared to the Andals, who eventually took the Vale, they were like cavemen throwing rocks. The Andals became known as Knights of the Vale, and they were truly the first Knights of Westeros. When it came to the traditional knightly indoctrination and training of warriors around the realm, you can say that it was the methods from the Knights of the Vale that were duplicated for all other regions of Westeros to abide by. There's actually a really cool short story about a young boy king in the Vale from House Arryn. Since the area is sprawling with high mountains, it's easy to become isolated and stay out of reach from most people. Well, when Aegon Targaryen conquered Westeros with his two sister wives, one of them flew her dragon over to the Eyrie where the boy king was playing in his castle. She persuaded him to yield the Vale to House Targaryen in trade for a ride on her dragon. For most people, absent dragon riders, the Vale is impregnable, meaning not a soul can get through its natural and artificial defenses. The entrance is famously known as the Bloody Gate, and it is said that even if you make it past the gate alive, half of your crew will slip and fall off a steep ledge before you get to where you're going. Either that or freeze to death in the high mountains. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the Lord of the Rings when the Fellowship is traveling to Moria and walking on the narrow cliffs in the mountains. Anyway, unless you have the ability to fly, good luck on traversing the Vale. This is where the story brings me to the current timeline. The Vale has lent aid to House Stark on retaking Winterfell. Although Robin Arryn is the reigning lord, it is really Peter Baelish who runs the political operations of the region. As we move into Season 7 of Game of Thrones, it's going to be interesting to see what involvement, if any, House Arryn or just the Vale in general will have in the final defining moments of the series. With the White Walker War looming, it's worth noting the Vale could potentially save many citizens of the realm from the undead army. It seems the Night King and his followers haven't had much of a problem with traveling around north of the wall yet. If they get past the 300-mile barrier and head south, will the Vale be affected or will they too fall just like the First Men? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day, take care, and Happy New Year.